If you find yourself with a camera in your hand and want to learn how to use it, please subscribe to this channel, like the videos, comment below. Hey Photos family, today we're starting to talk about storytelling. I lost my place in my notes. We're going to do a jump cut. No, I'm just kidding. We are talking about storytelling. So storytelling has about 5 different parts is what I could name off the top of my head. Now, I'm talking about all sorts of stories. We talk though not about those parts as much, but we make references to storytelling. Everyone has a story. That means somebody has something to say. Everybody has something to say, basically, is what that says. Everybody has a story. They have a background. They have something important to say. They have something interesting to say. They have something that we can learn from them. Basically, all those phrases are a communication of the importance or the value in someone because they have a story to tell. We in photography don't only shoot portraiture. Portraiture is not only made up in the entirety of the art of photography. We have candid photography that includes individuals. We have candid landscapes, you could say, action, visibility, cityscapes, those kind of things. But it doesn't just have to involve people. We have product shots, we have stock shots, we have actual landscapes where you don't see anyone in the landscape or the shot of the landscape. I mean, there's so many different areas. What we listed in one of our previous videos, I want to say in the first quarter of this year, that there were some 31 odd different categories of photography. And yes, they all have one area change or another, but the storytelling is much more broad than every one. That's my whole point. Everything has a story. We've talked about making our photographs important enough and snappy enough. Important, snappy. Those aren't the words I had in mind to use, and the one I did have has escaped me. But we want to create every photograph we put out, produce, or sell for, make visible for people to buy. We want to make it complete enough to be a story in and of itself. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this series of photography that creates and carries its own story. The 5 different parts that I could name off the top of my head of a story is the hook. That's usually the description. If you're thinking about a story as a book, the description of the book tells you kind of a broad overview of the plot, gives you identification of the first character or the main character. Excuse me. The main character is going to carry the story. Their actions are going to dictate mainly how the story goes, whether they're successful or not. It's going to allude to one of the mid to later points of the book, which is a twist. Then you're going to have some sort of resolution. So more and much of the questions of the book are answered, but then you're also going to have something involving the ending, but it's not just an ending. The book, more than likely, is itself setting and answering the questions of that book, but then there's also, in a conclusion of it, the possibility of another book left open. You see what I'm saying there? So in our photographs, we want to answer all the obvious questions, but we also want to create a desire to know more. Creating that desire to know more is the setting of a pre-hook in essence, so that when the next photograph comes out or is shown or published or whatever the case may be, the hook sets even easier because there's a lot of questions of, ooh, what are we going to see in the next one? I'm not just talking about an exhibition at an art museum. I'm talking about every photograph we see, we want to tell a story. So we want to create the question initially of that photograph. We want to be able to tell the story, have a plot to the photograph so that they are interested, not just drawn in, and their attention is grabbed in the first 3 to 5, maybe 7 or 10 seconds of seeing that photograph. So they have a hook, they're interested, they see the plot, it draws them into looking further details of the photograph. They see the plot and the details, but then there's something else that catches their eye, which is a twist. Interesting. The twist then draws them into seeing something, observing the rest of it, which is a little bit more obvious that they notice the twist first. They see the answer to that twist, which is a resolution to the whole thing, but then it draws together for them and their mind starts to comprehend the whole purpose and meaning of the picture, and so then they get the communication, the thought, they get the emotion of it. So it draws a conclusion for them. It draws in essence, the resolution, but then the conclusion comes down to there's also something that might lead to another photograph. What is it? Because I could see maybe this comes up next. So stay tuned, because we're going to be delving into each of these areas, and I'm not going to be giving you things that are each of these, but I want to create a question in your mind, an intrigue in your appetite for learning more about these and creating for yourself your own creativity of creating your hooks, of being able to craft and mold your own storyline, or creating the plot to your photographs, to being able to create a twist for it, to making a resolution for your photographs, and being able to draw the conclusion for your viewer that I want to see the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to bringing these thoughts out into a full conclusion for you. See what I did there? And letting you build your style, build your exhibition, if you want to go that far, to be able to work your work ethic into it all, to be the studio producer for your photographs, for your brand that you want to be, so that you can drive content and value for your customers. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to your comments below and a thumbs up. And if you're not yet a subscriber, we would love to have your subscription. God bless.